My mind was like, let me wear some blood red like outfit, and I think this is pretty like blood red because I wanted to represent because there's so much blood in this movie. Hi, my name is Charles, and today on my channel I'm gonna be talking about the new movie, The Northman from Robert Eggers. Starring Alexander Skarsgård, Nicole Kidman, Anya Taylor-Joy, Willem Dafoe. Oh my God, I feel like I'm forgetting someone else who's in this movie. Bjork. Right, because she's only in the movie a little bit, and some other people, but those are the most notable people in the movie. But yeah, this movie just came out this weekend, and I got some thoughts on it. I got some thoughts. First off, I gotta say, the evolution of Robert Eggers' movie, like, trajectory, like, his filmography, is pretty staggering, because I remember when The Witch, or The Vitch, when that came out, I wasn't the biggest fan of it, still not the biggest fan of it, but doesn't mean I didn't pre-order like the Second Sight 4K like collector's edition that is being released soon, because the artwork for that looks amazing. Editing Charles will probably show the artwork somewhere around me, and it looks great, so I pre-ordered it like honestly just today. And once again, I'm not the biggest fan of The Vitch, but it's a good, solid movie, and that movie showed, like, that Anya Taylor-Joy was a star from the beginning. I mean, wouldn't thou love to live deliciously? I don't know if they actually say that in the movie, but that's what I think about when I think about The Vitch. Anyways, I had, like, written off Robert, but then when The Lighthouse was coming out, I was like, this looks very fascinating, and, I'm always down to give people another chance, so going into The Lighthouse, my expectations were, like, just solid. I wasn't like, oh, it's gonna have to be amazing. I was just like, The Vitch was like a solid point, so anything honestly above The Vitch would be like mind-blowing to me. And The Lighthouse I thought was a complete serve. It is an amazing movie. Honestly, Willem Dafoe probably should have gotten a Best Supporting Actor nomination that year. I mean, the movie got Best Cinematography, like the nomination at the Oscars, and it deserved it. But I just wish that, at least Willem Dafoe got nominated for Best Supporting Actor because he was amazing in that movie, so was Robert Pattinson. And yeah, The Lighthouse, it is just a phenomenal film. And I heard it's getting a 4K release, maybe, and I'm like, is it gonna be from like, I forget what studio released The Vitch, but is it gonna be from them, or is it actually gonna be like a special boutique label? Part of me is like, is it gonna be a Criterion? Maybe, please. I would love a 4K like edition of The Lighthouse as a Criterion. But yeah, after The Lighthouse, I was like, Robert Eggers, like, I can't wait to see what he's doing next. And when I looked up what he was doing next, it was The Northman, which is where we're at now. So The Northman is basically a Viking epic about, a son whose father is killed by his uncle. And, he's basically grown up now, and he's like, baby, I gotta avenge my father, I gotta save my mother, and, I gotta kill my uncle for what he's done. That's basically the plot of the movie. It's very straightforward. It's like young him experiencing his father getting assassinated by his uncle, then fast forwarding to when he was older, and then remembering his, like, promise to himself of what he was gonna do to avenge his father and his, family in general. So, yeah, the movie is pretty great in my opinion. It is astonishing, and from the get-go when the lights went out, and, Nicole Kidman, like, did her whole monologue of being like, we go to the movies. I was like, yes, we go to the movies, Nicole, for you, because you are in this movie. But the minute the screen went black and then the sound started happening, I was like, ooh, they're really getting me into the mood of this movie. The movie is just very visually stunning. I mean, every aspect of this movie is stunning, from like the direction to the cinematography to the acting to the writing. The writing, I'm like, it's good, but I would say, like, in terms of dialogue, the dialogue's pretty basic. But, like, when the dialogue needs to not be basic, it goes off. I mean, toward the end of the movie, when Anya Taylor-Joy is on the ship and she's, like, chanting or whatever, I'm like, ooh, I'm like, Robert Eggers, and I cannot pronounce the name of the other writer, y'all snapped when, like, her little monologue that she was giving, because I was living, and part of that was, because Anya Taylor-Joy, like, served the line. She said, bitch, I'ma, like, deliver these lines, and deliver them is what she did. See, I'm not the biggest fan of, like, Viking stuff. I'm more of a Greek mythology guy myself. So, going into this, I was like, my appreciation for Viking culture and, the countries of, like, Iceland and Greenland and all the places that, Vikings lived in, it's not the highest, but I was just like, you know what? Robert Eggers really served with The Lighthouse, so, like, I'm just gonna go into this thinking it's going to be a serve. And, as I said, from the first, like, few minutes of the film where it's, like, dark screen and you just hear the music, and then it just shows ocean and then, like, crows, I thought to myself, we're in for something because the presentation alone for like just the darkness and then just ocean and the music and the sound, it's given epic. It's giving epic that not many films these days are giving you. When I was talking about the cast, I almost forgot to say Bjork because she's only like in one scene in the movie, but she kills it. Bjork kills it. And the writer of this movie, one of the writers, because one of them is Robert, but I cannot pronounce the other writer of this movie, but he did the most recent movie Lamb from A24 as well. It's not from A24. They like produced it or they didn't produce it. They released it. They distributed it because A24 is a distribution company. But anyway, he did The Lamb, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but he also did Rider in the Dark. I am my mother's child. I love you. I have not seen that movie, but Bjork is in that movie. She's the lead of Rider in the Dark, and her showing up back here, I was like, ooh, girl, no one has seen you in forever. No one has seen Bjork in forever. And the one scene she has when she's like reminding Hamlet of his fate, and it was so good. I was like, girl, maybe you should do more movies again because this is not kind of a sleigh. It is a sleigh. It's a full sleigh. And if anyone was going to get an Oscar nomination for doing one scene, that scene alone would definitely, for me, be a nomination worthy. I was like, girl, you better spin these riddles. You better spin these riddles, Bjork, because that's what you do best. But yeah, that scene with Bjork is one of many in the movie that is just seared into my brain. Like when Ethan Hawke and his son, the young version of Hamlet, are in like this cave acting like wolves. I was like, what is happening here? Or like when you know, you see grown-up version of Hamlet like invading a village near the start of the movie. I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. Or like at the end of the movie when there's a volcano fight between Hamlet and his uncle, I'm like, oh my god, this is crazy. A lot of moments in this movie, I was like, oh my god, this is crazy, and I cannot believe they were able to film this. Overall, what I really want to say about The Northman is that it's an amazing epic. It's nothing like I've really seen in cinema, in current day cinema. A lot of people are comparing the movie to movies like Gladiator or 300, and I just gotta say, shame on y'all, because this movie is nowhere as like as Gladiator. I know Gladiator won like Best Picture and a bunch of other Oscars, but I'm not the biggest fan of Gladiator. I think that movie is just And when it comes to 300, I haven't seen 300 yet, even though I own a 4K copy because I got it during Black Friday for cheap. But like, that's stylization. So I guess they were like the style from 300 and like the kind of epic feel of like Gladiator and then some other things from other movies. But I feel like Robert Eggers and like the writer, clearly this is made after Hamlet because, the character's name is Hamlet, but it's after Hamlet because like, you know, Shakespeare play Hamlet is kind of based off the real life real life person of Hamlet. So this is basically Hamlet. So if anything, it's like its own like original thing just brought to life actually, since a lot of things like The Lion King and actually Hamlet like copied the story, you know? Anyways, you know, end of the story is go support this movie in theaters because, you know, we gotta be supporting more like movies that aren't blockbuster movies because they deserve support. And, you know, cinema, because this movie is pure cinema in my opinion. This movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and it's on Showtime if you haven't seen it. It's called After Yang. It stars Colin Farrell and also Jodie Turner-Smith, I believe is her name. The person who's married to, what's his name? Joshua Jackson. Colin Farrell and her in that movie are great. So is Haley Lou Richardson. And I forget the guy who plays Yang in the movie, but he's amazing too. Overall, After Yang is an amazing movie. And I gotta say, if you haven't seen After Yang, go watch it because it needs your support. But I'm just saying, there's a lot of good cinema that's come out this year, and I really would hate for people not to see it because they aren't like big blockbuster movies. I mean, Focus Features have been doing a good job trying to push The Northman, but you know, we'll see. We'll see when like the first weekend results come in to see if it's actually making money or if people are just watching, you know, Sonic 2 and, you know, the Fantastic Beasts movie, because I feel like people just go to whatever the big blockbuster is. But you know what? Hope. I have hope that The Northman does good. Did I say Ethan Hawke was in the movie? If I forgot to say that earlier on, then yes, he is in the movie, but he's only in a small part of the movie for like I would say maybe he's in the movie for like 10 or 15 minutes at the start. So That's like, if I got to say Ethan Hawke in like the cast listing earlier, I'm sorry, but eh. Anyways, those are my thoughts on the Northman and also Robert Eggers in general. I'm very excited to see what he does next. He was supposed to be doing a Nosferatu movie, but apparently that's been canceled because there's no funding. But he said that he's been working on something Elizabethan, so another period piece. I read somewhere recently a quote where he was like, when someone asked, "Are you going to make a modern day movie?" And he goes, "No." And my first thought was, okay, Keira Knightley, okay, being like, I don't want to do no modern movie, boring. And I'm just like, I respect that. I respect that like a lot because a lot of interesting things can be explored in the past. Tell me down below in the comments what you thought about The Northman. I honestly think it's a masterpiece. It is astonishing. It's bone chilling. I had chills the whole time watching, and no moment in the movie felt unneeded. It was perfect, and no one is doing cinema like Robert Eggers is right now. He's one of the few people, I think, right now working in Hollywood, actually giving us good movies. Movies that are original, movies that stand on their own. And yeah, I just want people to support this movie because I like Marvel movies, but at the same time, I'm just like, y'all cannot tell me that all of these movies are needed. Like, a good, like, at least half of them could be cut off and I would not care at all. But yeah, everyone go watch The Northman, and if you've seen it, tell me what you guys thought, and hopefully they're good things, not bad things. Well, thank you guys for coming to my channel and watching this whole movie review, and yeah, I'll see you guys around in the next video if you're around for that, whenever that comes out. So, until then, I'm gonna go now. So, yeah, okay, bye!